and you guys can just take it away. And the delay on the voices has gotten better. So take three, go for it.
Great, great. Let's pick up on um, goodness. Okay. So, did you hear about this from Tall Girl 2 as well? Tell us about your experience, kind of finding out about this community and this idea to build a social media website by the community for the community.
Sure. So back in March, I saw the original viral video where a tall girl is like, they're going to shut TikTok down, and why don't we just make our own? And when I saw that video, I was so excited. I was so, so, so excited because thinking for years about our society and what is stopping us from moving forward and from getting more connections and from making more progress and getting the things done that we need to get done. And it keeps coming around to some of these problems with social media. And some of the problems with social media are just inherent. It is an online platform, so there's not going to be as much real world integration, for example. But a lot of the problems are very solvable. And so I saw this video calling people and saying, why don't we make their own? I thought, finally, okay, let's do this. Let's actually see if we can pull this together and make our own social media platform that actually supports us instead of supporting big tech to our detriment. And so I immediately reached out. I said, where do I go? Who do I talk to? I found this Discord server and missed the first couple weeks because of a personal thing, and then I've been with it ever since.
That's awesome. And that must have been, so it was like March, right? Because that was when the government announced that they were going to, in essence, ban TikTok, right? They
I mean,
pretended that
they've
maybe
been
we
doing
won't.
that on and off for like so long because they did it
Yeah.
last year and then they did it in March and then they did it in April. It's just like,
Right. But even with TikTok, we saw TikTok getting worse and worse, right? We saw it enshittifying in front of our eyes, where it used to be a great app, really focused on community building and peer to peer. And then it was TikTok and bots and
Ads.
yeah, suppression of the content we want to follow. And them feeding us whatever they want to feed us, and they're not going to tell us how they make the sausage behind it. And you know how do you feel good about using that service? Part of my job is to use social media, and to have to dive into these terrible social media offerings that these companies are spying on you, scraping your data and using it to train AI without your permission. So,
yeah, I
yeah,
mean, and it's inevitable at this point. Like, new social media app comes up and it provides
mhm,
some of what we're looking for in social media. So we flock there because is something real that we want from social media. And we go there and we get just a little bit of it, or maybe a good amount of it. And we're like, yes, I
Yes.
want more, I want more. But within years, it goes straight into the land of more ads, more bots, less
mhm,
integrity and less space for people to be heard, all of that stuff. And I've looked a lot at researching why that happens and what are the different things that cause that
mhm,
enshittification, as it's been coined. Um,
mhm,
and so much of it, if you take out the need for profits, if you say, you know what,
mhm,
I'm just going to make a social media app, we need to deal with money because we need to keep the lights on. We need to treat workers fairly and compensate people as needed. But then we'll just stop there. We don't need
mhm.
more than that. There's a shocking amount of this inevitable social media decline into madness. There's so much of
Mhm.
that that can be changed. It is not inevitable. It's only inevitable in a land of big tech having all of the social medias. And frankly, we deserve our own, where we can put
Yes,
ourselves first.
yes,
And I
yes.
absolutely love the the phrase you coined of connections without constraints. Because the more I look at it, the more I'm like, that is exactly what we're doing. Because when you need to get the most profits possible out of a social media app, that winds up putting in all of these constraints that prevent us from getting out of social media what we originally went there to get.
Yeah, exactly. We're just looking for information, entertainment, And a lot of us will put up with a few ads, but not this egregious big ads in your face, unskippable, sometimes of really shady stuff too. I've been fed some very bizarre, clearly AI ads where you're wondering who is the person behind this? It sounds like propaganda. And so, yeah, I think all of us really cared about, can we come together and build something as people who don't care about endless greed? None of us needs a yacht. None of us want that. And can we come together and create the structure so that no one can buy this app out, that we create something that is protected so that it stays for the community, by the community?
Yeah, I mean, I really see this as a community good, like a public park, like a library.
Yes.
We
Yeah.
deserve public infrastructure, and the internet is no different just because it's virtual. Like, this is our
Yes.
virtual town square, and it's been taken over by people trying
Hmm.
to extract whatever they can out of us, whether that's, selling our data or manipulating us into buying some scammy, sketchy thing or whatever it
Hmm.
is. Um,
Yeah.
we deserve a real third place. We deserve a real
Yes.
place on the internet where we can connect with one another and share
Hmm.
information with one another.
Yeah, and it's so crazy because it's the people that bring the value, right? These corporations create this little, I mean, the most bearish structure, and then we bring the life to it. We're the ones with the content. We're the small businesses. We're the, funny college kids doing, hauls from thrift stores and things like that. We're bringing the resources or the content that makes people want to actually spend time on these apps, and yet these corporations don't want to give us anything. They don't want to take. They want to extract as much as they possibly can out of us, wring as much as they possibly can out of us, and yeah, we're done. We're sick of it.
Yes, we're sick of it and we can do better ourselves.
Yes.
Like when I
Yes.
see the amazing things that I've seen in some cases, like over the last 10 years, where the internet can manage to get enough resources from everybody, small dollar donations spread it out over lots of people can amount to something massive. We've seen some amazing GoFundMe's. We've seen some amazing things of just people coming together and becoming more than any of us could be separately. And I really believe in that because there is a
Yeah.
need for this, and there's a lot of us who see that need and just chip in
Yeah.
something to make it happen.
Yeah, it was amazing that first initial rush. There was like 2,600 of us on that initial Discord server. And now we've kind of boiled down to a smaller, a more manageable group that we can really develop. But there's still tons of us, right? There's almost 500 people on the current Discord. And we've got like all sorts of amazingly skilled people with like law experience, legal experience, financial dev, high level dev experience. So it's super, super exciting. I feel like we really can build it. And once we build it, I think that the people will come. They'll want to put their content on a place that has transparency and rewards them for engaging with it and doesn't spam a bunch of shady ads at them.
Yeah. Yeah, like I'm seeing something right now all over TikTok where there's a bunch of creators where spent years building this following, and maybe they've got, 100,000 followers or 50,000, whatever that looks like, and then it's
Mhm.
gone. They've
Yeah.
they've been banned, they've been gone, they've been shut down. No
Hmm.
no reason given other than community guidelines and no ability
Mm-hmm.
to appeal. And that's another place of connections without constraints, right? Because one of the constraints that's put on there is, well, we want to maximize profit, so we're not going to make any human appeals process. And I'm seeing that across the social medias. You know, you get
Yes.
banned, you get suppressed, you get anything, and there's no
Mm-hmm.
one you can talk to. And I'm hearing this even
Yes.
from big creators. Like, but surely it must be possible to have a human appeal process where if you have mistakenly shut down by AI for some reason, or
Mm-hmm.
if, you know, a bunch of people have decided to come and all report one video erroneously, where you
Mm-hmm.
should be able to say, look, no, take a look at the facts, and I don't deserve to be treated this way. And an actual
Mm-hmm.
human can look at it and make that determination. But because we don't have any social media platforms allow that, it's almost kind of like a monopoly where if you can't get it anywhere, then what are you going to do? You can't get off the internet. The internet is so integral to our day-to-day life. And I'm just
Yeah.
thinking, it's got to be not that bad to have a human appeal process. Now, yeah, you
Mm-hmm.
have to pay humans to do that, or maybe we could work out some sort of moderator Reddit thing, you
Mm-hmm.
know, but I think we can figure it out so that we don't have to live in this world. Like, I feel for creators, especially the ones who have quit their
Yeah.
jobs to do this full time, and then
Mm-hmm.
all gone. Like,
Exactly.
there's a severe amount of instability.
Yeah. And it's
Yeah.
heartbreaking. The small business blood of, what I thought in the US we were supposed to be kind of honored and supported, and small businesses are being squeezed out incredibly. And that includes content creators too, who get a smaller and smaller slice of the pie, unless, of course, they're huge and they can bribe these companies to, even if you unfollow or block them, to then you click on it, all of a sudden you're following that account again. You're getting more spam from the Kardashians that you never wanted to see again because, they have the right, they know who's the levers. I certainly don't. You certainly don't have
Yeah.
access. We don't have access behind that at all. I think that's one of the things that we really want to build a lot of transparency in. The whole thing, everything we've been, I feel like, really doing with creating Astrith and now creating the app, we're really trying to be as transparent as possible, which is why, we're doing this on a Discord that anyone could join,
Yeah,
Yeah, and it's also
which
absolutely.
is,
the the thing about the content creators, missing out on these features as social media companies get more greedy or continue to serve the shareholders over content creators is something I just saw today. It was a video from one of the content creators I follow, and they were talking about how every day that when they post, the next day there will be some kind of like duet, and the person is just taking their videos and putting cake decorating on the side, or some kind of making a cake or something random, and they'll block his
right.
name, the TikTok creator's account name, so that people can't even go and follow the original video. And people, his followers were tagging him, saying, "Hey, look at this," and he just goes through these accounts. They're fraudulent. They're basically stealing content, and some of them get more views
Mm-hmm.
because if they are bots, or they have this network of bots helping game the algorithm, where they'll get more artificial views, which helps boost that post over the original creator's post. And then if they try to
Yeah.
appeal to get those other ones taken down, there some creators were even getting flagged as not being the original creator. Like their video would be flagged
Mm-hmm.
as violating community guidelines for not having original content, even though they were the original creator. And so things like this, like what you're saying, Scribbles, just the lack of human oversight, which would clearly common sense catch these things. But because companies are relying more on
Mm-hmm.
AI, because they're relying more on auto generated things or community reports, there's no one checking that the community isn't abusing the system, or that the bots aren't abusing the system. And therefore, the quality goes down, right? For
Mm-hmm.
everyone.
Totally. I mean,
Yes.
There was a account. So one of the people I follow, their real account, right? You go to their account and it's got their name and their videos and it looks, and then I somehow accidentally followed their copycat account that's got the same profile name,
Oh,
a
yeah.
very similar, the
Mhm.
picture, all the videos. They were just re-uploading the exact same videos, so you can't really tell a difference. And they reached out to me, this fake copycat, to try and scam me, to try and get my information. And I was like, well, there, right there. Getting community guidelines, they're copying and they're trying to scam. This should be real easy. So I report it.
Mhm.
And then I talked to the creator that they were copycatting. She's like, I can't even deal with it anymore. They just come
Mhm.
constantly, and I report them. And the platform comes back saying, no violations found. Like,
Oh my
it's so obvious. I could see there was a violation in, 5 seconds. You can
God.
see it.
Right. Right. If a
And
human looks at it.
oh, totally. And just I I just think there's so many people who benefit from bots being in the system.
Mhm.
And it's not something that we like to talk about because none of the people benefiting from it are you and me, right? It's
Yeah.
like who benefits from bots being in the system? Well, number one, bots and whatever they're trying to achieve.
Mhm.
And that varies greatly from political things to just scams to whatever. Um, And then you've got some people getting bots to make it look like they have more followers than they actually do.
Right.
So as a
Right.
way of
And
like
buying
displaying themselves
followers.
differently.
Mhm.
Exactly. And then you can even see that platform level. Like it is good for your numbers as a platform to say, oh, we have X number of new users, but don't look
Mhm.
behind the curtain because it's 60% bots. And I look as I'm going through social media, maybe I'm looking at a political post, and then I look at the comments and I just start thinking to myself, are these human? Like this person
Mhm.
right here, this comment has said something that fires me up and makes me want to respond to it. But is this
Yeah.
a human or not? Is this
Yeah.
or is this just trying to get a reaction out of me? And I just don't know. And it starts making me feel paranoid. And or I've seen other people and it just kind of makes them kind of bitter. Like they just start believing that humans are good humans. And I don't know that that's the case, but I have no proof. And it's just so
Right.
frustrating. Like that is not connection. That is
No.
not what
And
people
that's
are going to social media for.
Oh, and we're ending up with the theory of the dead internet, right? Where you go to certain places and it's just bots posting and bots commenting, and you get these weird AI images of like hot dog Jesus that like thousands of bot accounts are upvoting, even though the image is absolute nonsense. Um, AI drivel, and then the AI are all voting for it, and that's now viral, and we're looking at that like, what is even happening here, let alone the ones that are fishing for conflict, right? Just trying to engage because, like you say, God knows for what reasons. It could just be for metrics on comments and arguments, or it could be to actually try to scam you, get your information. Um,
So
yeah,
division. Some of
mhm,
them are there to
exactly.
sow division specifically. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, and we know that, right? That's the scary thing. We know that's happened before, that like election interference has happened through these social media sites, as has like experimentation on the population that they did not consent to. I mean, this is like some World War II, you know, news ramp up to World War II is happening right now. And so, yeah, it's so good to be a part of something and try to build something that we're like, we are thoughtful on how, and we've just the last meeting we had, we were talking about, how do we keep bots out of our system, right? But we still make it accessible for people that they don't have to jump through too many hoops, but that we won't be flooded with bots.
oh,
Yeah, and
totally.
I'm
And
just,
like, don't get
yeah.
me wrong. Like, I have so many thoughts about the problems that exist and the solutions that we could do. And I haven't tested it. I don't know whether can be successful or not. But what I do know is we can do better than what's out there, and some of this stuff will work.
Yeah.
I that's worth it.
Well, and you also
Yeah.
see the
Yeah,
power of
100%. So now I
community.
want to dive in. Let's talk about the UX a little bit more, right? We've started like, what is it? Wireframe?
Yeah, wireframes are like the rough draft
Say
of
that
the
again?
screen.
Yeah.
Are you talking? Can you guys hear me? No. Huh. How about now? Can't hear me?
Yeah, we can hear
Okay.
you
You're
now.
coming in and out a little bit.
Dang it,
Hmm.
technology. Take four. No. We'll pick it up from here. Um, can you hear me
Okay.
now? Yeah,
Yes.
Yes.
sweet. Uh, but yes, no, just going back to what you said about the actually no. What did remind me what we were just talking about because my brain went blank, and then I'll edit from here.
Um, which
I
had
was
just
gonna say, oh,
Oh,
bots. Yeah, we
UX.
were about thoughtful design and you.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
I tried to segue, like, let's start talking about UX since we've started um, something.
Can
I'm
you
not the
hit that
tech
segue
person.
again? And
Sure, sure. Um, uh, um,
take a breath. You got
so
it.
yeah.
you're doing great, by the way.
Um, thank you. So yeah, we were so excited to think about how to thoughtfully design this. Scribbles, can you tell us a little bit more about what we've created so far for the app and what the UX design is?
Yeah. So before you do any design, you want to get a better understanding of who your users are and what they want. So that's where I started, and I did interviews with 10 different content creators of different sizes and approaches to get to know what they were dealing with, what they could tell me about the platform, what problems they were coming across, um, anything like that. And it gave me a bunch of really useful information. Like really helped me understand, how the sausage was made and what they were dealing with, because that's a really important perspective. And
Mm-hmm.
then I did surveys of the general population who had used social media to get to know, okay, what are their goals? What are they trying to achieve by going on social media? And what are they actually getting from social media? Where are they being blocked? What are some of those constraints that we can remove? And what do they really need from a platform? So I did a bunch of research into those areas and some analysis on that. And then we get into the good part of the app. And so we've been looking, okay, what features are important to include first? Because there's a bazillion things that we could be doing, but
Mm-hmm.
which ones, based on all of our research, is most important to make sure we include at launch? Because then we can add more after, but we need to get there so that we can actually get up and running and off to the races. So we've taken a good long look at that, and some of the things that kind of surprised me is in terms of monetization. So we don't want to be making a profit with this app, but we do need to keep the lights on. And
Mm-hmm.
how do users want us to keep the lights on? And I was surprised to see a majority of people say ads. They were okay with ads, but they wanted ads that were ethically done
Mm-hmm.
and ads that were unobtrusive. So not the level of just overbearing ads that are unskippable, that are pervasive that we see today. It's like, well, we understand you have to support
Good
yourself,
one. Good one.
and ads would make it so that more of us could get the value of that. I don't want to exclude anyone from our service. And then people were really wanting, can we have a subscription for ad free, an alternative? So we're looking into how we might make that work. And the other thing I got from users is they really wanted a flexible social media app where it wasn't all just, say, text posts like Twitter, or it wasn't all, just image-based posts. They want video, they want text, they want images, they want that variety. So we're looking at, okay, let's see if we can just get a small chunk of that for launch, and then we can continue to grow on that. I
Mm-hmm.
look around and I see social media apps that you wouldn't normally think of, right? Like when I say social media, it's like Facebook, Instagram, there's this list
Mm-hmm.
of 10 things that you could probably rattle off. But then there's ones that are a little bit on the periphery, like Meetup. Is Meetup a social media app? If you
Mm-hmm.
Google it, it is, but it's not the way we think of a social media app. Or
Yes.
Discord, right? Is Discord a social media app? Well, yes, but it doesn't have those features. And so the way I figure, it's like, let's get to launch and whatever is necessary to get it out there. And then what people want, other ways to connect and be part of a community, could be amazing to add in. Like
Mm-hmm.
one of the things I've seen in social media today, and I'm just going to talk about traditional social media, the Facebooks and the like,
Mm-hmm.
is they don't like you ever leaving their app. They
Yes.
don't like posts that will activate you to have a real world impact. So if there's a post that a creator puts out there, it says, hey, go sign this petition. Current social media apps will punish you for that because it's like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, after viewing your post, a bunch of people just left our site, and that's never
Mm-hmm.
allowed. But I wonder, what if we didn't ding them for that? What if even actually we encouraged people to meet up in real life eventually? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not saying any of this for certain. I'm just saying there's so many different avenues we can take it. And so part of what I'm kind of listening for and thinking about is how much more can we open this up to really serve people? What if this really was like a town square with everything
Yeah.
you'd expect in a town square? Some small and local businesses, instead of TikTok, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yep.
there's a lot of, again, connection without constraints. There's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
things that could open up, and I really want to be creative
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
about
We've
how we look at this because so far all of the social medias that we've seen have this constraint of, but we need to make as most profit as possible. If we take that out, what is possible?
yeah, and
Leaves up to our imagination.
if you think about how
Go
much
ahead.
the community, even on TikTok, has been able to rally around creators like Kevin, blanking on last name, but the reviewer, the food reviewer, Kevin, right? No, I'm gonna have to edit this out.
Oh,
Is it Kevin? He's a
yes.
famous food
Float his
reviewer,
name somewhere.
and he will change the
Yeah.
business, like he will change for the better, like well, sometimes for the worse if they don't respond well. But he'll like help
Mm-hmm.
small businesses. Uh, Kevin, the food review, right? Kevin, right? Kevin Lee? Is it
Is
Kevin
it
Lee?
Kevin? It's
Kevin
like,
Lee. Yeah, Kevin
yeah,
Lee.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yes.
So let me start that over because that was a lot of like, but yeah, like the community can really rally around you, even on TikTok, TikTok, tic tac toe, like that
The
one, the
tiki-taki.
TikTok.
TikTok time is up.
Yeah, and take five. But yeah, like even on TikTok, the community will rally around these certain creators and make them internet famous or internet viral, which turns into a way for them to support
Mhm.
themselves. Like the demure trend, this creator that couldn't afford things that they needed
Yes.
for, and now just wants to take care of their family. And everybody in the comments is saying, "We made the right person famous. We made the right person famous." And like Kevin Lee with the food
Yes.
reviews, where he helps small businesses, black owned a lot of black owned restaurants. I don't know if he only reviews. No, I'm pretty sure just he reviews any restaurants, but he helps a lot of small businesses that are owned by the black community to succeed and just get that notice and get that support, and then everybody wants to rally and support them thanks to Kevin Lee shining a light on them. And so in the same way, if people want to shine a light on a company or a social media platform that will serve them, will be about service, will be about helping the community, will be about bringing unity, will be about making sure they're real people on it and people that are healthy, not
Mm-hmm.
toxic, dark internet, dark web kind of stuff where they use it for nefarious purposes. If we can make a
Mm-hmm.
safe third space on the internet, which, the revamped Maslow's pyramid of needs, hierarchy of needs, like I've heard that there was a
Mm-hmm.
version that included internet access as one of the basic needs because of how our society has changed for that to need human connection, where people will get anxious not being able to have internet connection. And so, in the same way,
Mm-hmm.
social media is now no longer a fun little app. It is a human need almost in order to stay connected,
Mm-hmm.
even globally, to know what's going on with like people wanting the news, people. So, if we as a community can make the right people famous, we can make the right app successful. We can make the right tech company successful if we rally together. And that's, I know, Astra's main goal is to have a mission and values that is uncorruptible and that is constantly looking to
Yes.
help serve and bring goodness to the world and to the community and to provide for real needs. And it's not going to be the
Mm-hmm.
answer for everything, but if it can be the answer for that, that would be, in my opinion, and I think everybody who's volunteering for this project, what a win in the right direction for making technology work for us instead of against us, like we're seeing with AI, where big tech is using technology against the little people or the common people or the working class or whatever you want to call it, the talent pool, right? The wealthy billionaires. I've heard it said, and it kind of rings true, that they want to make talent less of a resource. They can control talent, right, through things like AI. Now they have the talent generating, and so that only the wealthy have the access to
Yeah.
create things because of the monopolies that we see, because of just the nature of that kind of power game, I guess, where in order to make money you need money.
Mm-hmm.
And so instead of having talent and being able to raise through the ranks, now it's just like you have talent. Well, so we already stole your stuff and now we can generate it ourselves. So now you just need money to make money. And that excludes a lot of people. Anyways, I'm on a tangent, but I think
Yes.
Asterith is the answer for a lot of social problems. If we can do it right,
Yes.
No, I
because
think
it'll
you're,
create space for people, right?
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think you're totally right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I think you're totally right. I think technology can be super empowering, but I
Mm-hmm.
think the current way it's manifesting is more disempowering than empowering. And
Yeah.
I would love to see this app turn into something that can continue to empower people, empower
Yes.
communities, and give
Mm-hmm.
us what we're really looking for and what we can achieve together.
Hmm.
Yeah. And how, Scribbles, how did you describe that Astra, like what we're trying to as a business? It was like a nonprofit.
Yeah, so we're looking at how we might incorporate, right? Because one of the things we want to do is we want to follow this mission for putting
Mm-hmm.
community over profits.
Right.
We want to do it in a good way, but also we do not want to build an app that's lovely and good and then have some big tech come over and just yep,
Takeover,
and
hostile
then
takeover.
turn it into everything else. Yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
we're looking at legal options for how we can protect this in the future. And so one of the legal options that we're looking at is, well, we could incorporate as a co-op company, and then we're
Mm-hmm.
bound to make sure that we treat our employees fairly, which is really important, and compensate people correctly, and to make sure to give a voice to the work and not just to, the one manager at the top who gets a golden parachute,
Mm,
right?
Mm-hmm.
But then if we incorporate as a co-op, we'll want to put bylaws in place for the company so that we make sure that we're not just there to profit, that we're there to make a
Mm-hmm.
difference. So one option is we incorporate as a co-op with legal protections to make sure that we operate as a nonprofit, essentially, that we're not looking to make big bank.
Right.
Or we could go the route of incorporating as a nonprofit, and
Mm-hmm.
then we would need to make sure to have bylaws that make sure that we treat employees fairly and make sure to give everyone a voice and not inadvertently create a dictatorship situation with one person
Mm.
making all the calls, because we do really believe that when you give people the voice, when you give that to the community, often makes a better decision than a single individual, and certainly makes decisions that are better for the community. So yeah,
Yes.
I almost wish we could incorporate as a nonprofit co-op, but I feel like one of those two avenues, either a nonprofit co-op or a co-op-y nonprofit. We're looking from legal perspectives and what makes the most difference, but ultimately we want to enshrine this mission as something that the company is legally has to do, and that cannot be taken over, co-opted, hostile takeovers, like none of that. We need to protect this, because if we actually can make this a reality, that would be so valuable, and we have to protect that value for the sake of the community.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. We don't want to be another social media app that was built on the backs of all the users and then is just comes in and all of a sudden, nope, all that value is ours now. We're selling it back to you.
Mm-hmm.
And we want to make sure that that can absolutely never happen. And what's exciting is there are avenues to do that. I love the co-op model because I do feel like it'd be so great to have actual, even the potentially used as members of the co-op. I feel like it can be incredibly empowering. But yes, the nonprofit, we will figure it out. We've got legal hard at work already parsing that and figuring out what we can do. And we've already created bylaws of our own, right? We own kind of ethic and values and mission that we're constantly trying to talk about and incorporate into what we're doing into the company and the app itself, so that we're not going to have the inshitification problems. We're going to stay for the community that created us.
Absolutely. And honestly, like, our values come to my mind constantly as I do this work and make decisions. Like, I'll
Yeah.
just be deciding between, okay, does this button go here or here? And sometimes it'll come up in my head, what's best for the community, And it's just, when you can have those values, then going down into all of the little decisions that you make, that adds up into something big. And that's really what I see happening.
Mm.
Yeah, and it's beautiful. I feel like I've spent my whole life looking to do work that was just positive, that didn't have any like of this baggage of like runaway late stage capitalism attached to it. And sadly, I was never able to find it. Oh, we've got
Yep.
a
Pause. One
guest.
sec. One sec. One sec. Pause. Hey, Kalinicus.
Messed up my whole screen.
Hey, sorry,
Hey,
Kalinica.
Kalinika.
Oh
We're
no.
conducting an interview right now, if you and we're recording it. Do you mind popping out?
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, it's for marketing. No
Yeah.
worries.
Hi.
Hi, bye. No
We
worries.
should probably should have done this in the
I
interview
mean, we're
Maybe
room.
just
why we
so
should have picked the
popular.
interview room.
Yeah, that was the plan. I forgot, but
Maybe.
yeah, go ahead, continue.
Oh, sorry, sorry. I was just waiting here and like wanted to, do something. But anyway, yes, we're just so popular. People want to jump in and, contribute to the discussion.
Absolutely.
Okay. Where do you see this project going in the future? Where are you kind of hoping? Where's our North Star in your perspective?
My North Star is, how can we make the internet serve the community? And that could look like so many different things. So in the near term, right, it's just like, to get us to launch this, I want to be able to tackle social media and be able to give an outlet there. And then I want to increase it. And there's a lot of different directions we could go. Earlier I talked about maybe going and including something meetup like, so that we can help take the conversation from a virtual space into physical reality, to make physical changes, to make world friends. Now, there's a lot there that we'd have to look at and do in a good way.
Mhm.
Some sort of propping up local businesses could be part of that, and making an actual forum for people. Or it could be something that isn't even recognizable necessarily in social media today, but just arises as a need that the community has from the internet. and we could make that a reality. Really, for me, it's, well, let's start with where we're at now and continue to build on it in the ways that people need us to, and continue to maintain a connection with the community and the community's needs, being responsive to those needs, really listening to it, and then making decisions. Okay, how can we best meet people's needs?
Yeah.
And so to
Yeah.
me, the future, yeah, the North Star is community, right?
Yes.
And the future is just imagination. Like, I honestly think it could be, maybe this is, 8 years down the line, and it's turned into something that doesn't even exist today. That's possible. And I want to keep the room for that possibility, that optimism, and the serving of people's needs.
Yeah, that is so exciting. And that's, I think, why we want to put this stuff out there too and get more people. We want more people to come to the table and help us with these ideas, figure out how do we execute this stuff? What else do you see missing in the landscape? What else do you, our generation of people who are incredibly isolated, and what do we need, and what can, we're going to start out with a short form scrolling video app that probably looks a lot like TikTok, and maybe has
On the surface.
this, yes, on the surface, the slideshow. That's going to be the start. So it's going to be friendly and easy, but the power behind it is incredible. And if more people kind of think, we already have an amazing team, and if more people join, it's just going to be even more amazing, and we're going to get really incredible things done. And I feel like save the world. I mean, it's maybe
Like,
a
I
little high
kind
of
of
a,
low-key do too.
yeah. Let's save the world, folks. I mean, we need to do something, right? I think status quo, I think we can all say, is like, it's not it. It's not working. So let's save the world together. Let's band together and save the world. Stop griping about it. Let's do something about it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Like, that's what got me so excited about this the very first time I heard about it back in March, is like, this is an actual opportunity to save the world. And like, I'm not being hyperbolic. Like, there are so many, like, existential level threats going on, where I really do think a good social media system that connects us and helps us share information could make a difference and allow us to pool resources to really make a difference, shift things, and move forward, versus a bad social media system gets us more entrenched, more divided, more anxious, depressed, more addicted, and more distracted. And then we can't solve anything. And so to me, that's what's on the line.
Yeah.
And
So,
yeah, we've got an amazing team, and I love everyone's energy and hearts, and it's wonderful. And if we can get more of that, we can go farther faster. And I think that's really what the world needs.
yes. So if you're watching this, please go to www.astrith.com. Let me do that again.
We'll pin a comment.
www.astrith.com. And you can learn more about us. You can volunteer, you can donate, and join us on this Discord, and come along on the ride. Just see what you can do to contribute, because we have lots of roles. There's like a care team. So whatever kind of, whatever you bring to the table, we want it. We want it on our table. So yeah, join us and be an awesome volunteer that hopefully maybe someday actually, maybe we get paid something for all of this. But for
Oh,
now,
that would be nice.
it's actually kind of, yeah, but it's also kind of great that I feel like, as long as we're all in it together, as long as no one's making money or everyone's making money, I think it's fine. It'll work no matter what. And that's another thing. We just want to keep it that kind of transparency and make sure that whatever we're gaining, we're spreading the wealth around. And so, if you want to volunteer, know that you are going to be valued, and that you're not going to be kind of dicked over. Can you come up with a better word for that? You're not going to be screwed over. Is that even any better?
Taken advantage of,
By us
exploited.
then yeah, you're not going to be exploited. We are going to make sure that whatever, you give in, you'll see that be reflected in the what we're creating, and hopefully, like we said, it'll save the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is
And
just
I
a,
mean, honestly, we would love to get more help from people with certain skills, right? Developers would love to get more help. We need
Mhm.
QA, we need DevOps. We could use a lot of different skills, maybe even something that's not necessarily like you've never thought about yourself in tech, but maybe you have a skill like you have a good understanding of psychology as it relates to social media. That could be an interesting thing to bring to the table. Or if it's like, hey, I'm currently between jobs and I have 8 hours a day where I'm not doing anything. We also could have some entry level tasks that you
Mhm.
could help us with. So there's a lot of different areas to where you can come help make this a reality.
mhm.
Yes, and we need more content creators to help spread our message around. Um, I am an academic by training, so I've taught classes on public relations, but I don't post on necessarily on social media, so I don't have that skill set. We're looking for more people who feel comfortable posting stuff online or who already have a following to come and, proselytize for us. Once you've, drank the Kool-Aid with the rest of us,
Oh
come
gosh.
and come
Not
and help
drink the
us. Oh
Kool-Aid.
no, not the
No, I know.
Kool-Aid.
Once you
We
come see what we're doing and it's
yeah, we value
real
critical
and
thinking.
there's something,
Yes,
yeah,
yeah. Not a cult. We're not a cult. Isn't that what all cults say?
Oh
well,
no. We'll edit this out, don't worry.
We'll cut out that. Yeah. We'll cut this part out.
But I will say
Um,
shameless plug.
no, we want to welcome all sorts of people. Yeah.
On that
We want
note,
to welcome all sorts of people. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, just a quick plug. So we definitely would appreciate anyone's voice from because we've kind of come from a TikTok algorithm of a certain type of community because that's how TikTok
Mhm.
algorithms work. So we've found a lot of like-minded people that want to help with this project, but we want this social media app to represent all of us, right? We want it to be a safe space for all the different types of community, and we do want to be mindful of different perspectives than our own. And so, if you can share this video or share the idea or share the website or come onto the Discord and share your voice, we just need to get the word out to outside of our bubbles so that we can be more
Mhm.
inclusive because that is one of our values. And we do want to hear from perspectives that are outside of what the TikTok algorithm has brought us to, right? So you can help with even just that,
Yes.
even if there's nothing else.
Hmm. Yeah, I love it. All right, wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Scribbles and Brave, for your time
Absolutely.
and
Thanks for
making
your,
this work. It was
yeah, good times.
yeah, thank you.
excellent. All right, I think is that a wrap? Did we
That's a
finally
wrap.
do it?
The
I
Asterisk
hope
Show.
so. Then
I
I'll
hope so. Oh
I'll stop
my
recording.
God, if that